Tommy, you're here today, in Garmisch, in Bavaria, and you got a prize,
I got a prize, yeah.
It's nice for you? Tell us.
It's beautiful, yeah. So it's a beautiful country, and do you know Lutz Bachmann? Lutz, do you know?
Come here.
Do you know?
I don't know Lutz Bachmann, but maybe you can present. Yeah.
Lutz.
Who is Lutz Bachmann?
Lutz, come here.
He's talking about Lutz Bachmann. Are you Lutz Bachmann?
The racist and Nazi from Germany.
What is it? Pegida. Are you a racist?
Yeah.
He's a racist.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
That's what the mainstream media says about me.
Is he a friend of you?
Of course he's not. No. I am disgusted with you.
Yeah, disgusted.
No.
Yeah.
But he's the hero of resistance.
I said so. I'll be honest with you. Do you know when?
Let's see. It's Queen Louisa from Preußen.
Queen Louisa.
Do you know for the growth of these movements? When I first met Lutz, and I hadn't even met you, and I went on Wikipedia, and I looked at his profile on Wikipedia, and when I read it, I just laughed out loud. Yeah. Well, I read his history, and I laughed so much. Because do you know why I laughed?
Wikipedia is interesting to read.
Do you know why I laughed?
Yeah.
Because when I laughed, I read it, and I thought, this man will still be there. Yeah. He will not run and he will not hide. Because most other people in this movement, they threaten with violence or they scare, and they run and they hide. When I read Lutz's Wikipedia, I was going to introduce your Wikipedia in Manchester. When I read it, it was like Lutz Bachmann spent 6 years in South Africa on the run. And when I read it, I thought, it's a real man with history, and it was never ever going to be female school teachers who stood up to Islam in Europe. Yeah. It was never going to be them, It was going to be men, patriotic men from their country who were not going to back down. And there's only certain sort of men that fill that gap. And Lutz is one of them, and I'm proud. I love the fact that I met him, man. I love it. Yeah. I said he's one of the best people I've met in years.
So let's stay in English. You are friends now, since some years. Yeah.
So when I first watched on the news and I see Pegida and I see it spread everywhere, so I sent my friend over there because I see the media said they were Nazis, they were fascists, they had hatred in their hearts. So I sent my friend to go and evaluate it, and he come back with a report saying, mate, they were middle class, they were organised, they were orchestrated, they were not racist, they had black people on their demonstration, and he come back and give me a report. So that's when I travelled out to meet them, and I said, no matter what happens now, you see the AFD, they have won elections. You can't forget the people that grinded the way. The AFD, it's now acceptable to say what you've got to say, but certain people went through a process where they risked their reputation, they risked their life, they risked their livelihoods to push that debate. And a lot of people are trying to separate themselves from that. And I find it difficult when I watch what's going on in Germany. It's the same as what's going on in England. I say certain people, when it was not cool, when it was not comfortable, when you would get attacked, to stand and say the truth. Certain people, and that's what I remember Lutz for. History will remember that one of the first people in Germany, well, you was actually, when I met you.
Do you remember?
I do remember.
When we were in Aarhus,
I do.
You know, thousands of leftists
Aarhus is on fire.
Aarhus.
I can remember you were one of the first people I ever met. You see, in this whole movement, you were one of the first people. But in Germany's history, Lutz, Pegida, the people of Dresden were the first people that stood up. And once it became acceptable, once they took the backlash, once their lives were destroyed, then people filled their shoes. And now those people are trying to. I find it difficult. Same in England. I find it difficult.
Same happens to AFD. What happened to UKIP before?
Yeah. So he founded the most famous movement for civilians. In Europe. Yeah, people's movement. Yeah, of course. What can you say now about Tommy? You know, you spend a lot of time together in this difficult time now. Yeah.
But he's just brilliant. I just love this lad. He's funny. But what he has, what I most respect on him is his backbone. He's got a backbone. Nobody's going to break it.
I'll be honest. You know, if they didn't do that, they paved the way. In England, we paved the way for UKIP, the EDL. If they didn't do that, then the path that the AFD have taken, they need to understand where it come from, and they don't want to lose touch with the people of the street. Yeah. Because if they try and distance themselves, which I'm seeing now, same in Britain. Don't forget where you've come from.
Yeah. You made the path for the movement.
We can drop them as well.
Yeah. But you have to pay now a high price. Yeah. You were in prison. Yeah. And it's not over. Yeah. You are still.
Prison again.
Yeah. What's right now the situation with that?
So on the 23rd of October, I will probably go back to prison. Well, in fact, I'm going to read a statement in court. So I sat down with my solicitors. I sacked my solicitors because they tried to broker a deal where I apologise and I admit guilt. And then if I do that, then I go home. And I said, I'm never going to do that. And I sat down, they were working for the other side, that's what I felt. I said, this is a historic moment and I want to speak and stand by my convictions. So I'm going to stand up in court and I'm going to read a statement that basically stands up for the people of Britain. It tells the truth about Muhammad, it tells the truth about Islam, and there are not many moments that will come like this. So I had to sit my wife down and my children down and say, I know when I do this, I'm going back to jail. I know that, yeah.
But what you did made other reporters as well. So
And they didn't get charged. They didn't get charged for it.
3 other reporters, the same weekend I did it, 3 other reporters breached the same restriction the same weekend. Now what I said, I sat my son down to try and explain it to my son because I was in court the other day and I had to sit him down. He saw it online, so he was crying his eyes out thinking I'm going in jail. So I tried to explain it in the best way to say, basically son, you see what's happening? I said, there's girls that are my daughter's age, 11 years old, yeah? I said, and some of them have been kidnapped and taken, and there's some horrific things being done to them, yeah? I said, so if daddy has to go away for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks or 14 weeks or 16 weeks, if I have to go away and it saves one girl, yeah? I said, is it worth it, son? If it's a girl like your sister and she's having to, he said, yes. So to explain to him, I said, so I can sit here now and smile knowing that more people right now, and with my previous court case, across the whole world, are talking about the Islamic rape gangs in Britain. So I'm winning. When I'm sitting in jail, I'm thinking, this is an educational process. This is an educational process. So I am happy to be sitting there and trying to explain it to my son. And I asked him, what would you want me to do as your dad? I said, if there's a girl and we can save one, would you want me to save her? He said, of course I would.
But Tommy, what happened last week? There was a trial, and the state prosecutors, they want to collect more proofs against you. Is it right now the point?
So the state prosecutors have added another 2 charges to the charge list from breaching the reporting restriction. The other 2 charges are that I spoke derogatory about Islam. I spoke facts about Islam, yeah? I will never apologise. I'd rather go to jail for the next 25 years than accept or accept guilt for telling the truth. And that's what they've done. And the other fact that they said, I turned around to outside court and I said that Muslim men are overrepresented in grooming convictions for these trials. Now, the other people that said that is Sajid Javid, our Home Secretary, who's Pakistani, Majid Nawaz, who works for the Quillian Foundation, who's Pakistani, Nafsir Azal, who's Pakistani for the CPS. It's a fact. If facts have become a problem and they prejudice a trial, I'll never apologise for that. So I'll walk into court. I said, if I walked into court, I had this conversation with my wife, yeah, because it's a difficult conversation to have. I said, if I go in and I take a deal and I plead guilty and I say sorry, I walk in with my head down and I will not be able to walk out with my head up. Yeah, I said, if I walk in and stand by my convictions, even if I go to jail, when I come out of prison in 6 months or whatever, I walk out with my head up because I know I've stood by the truth. That's the reality of it. So yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's a difficult situation at the same time, but there is no chance, and I'm so glad my wife stood by me. But there is no chance that I will accept guilt for something I'm not guilty of, just to broker a deal with the British government.
Yeah, you had a difficult time in jail. Yeah, how long was it? 3 months or? I spent
2.5 months in jail, but I spent 2 months in. They moved me from one prison which had the lowest Muslim population to the highest Muslim population of any prison in the UK. Now that's not a mistake. Like anyone can know that. That's not a mistake. Like I can't believe the reporters or the journalists are not chasing that up. It's not a mistake.
Did you have protection there? You was in a single prison.
They put me on solitary confinement. Yeah. But I don't want solitary confinement. I don't want that because I know the effect that would have. But at the same time, it's.
So do you think they would have liked you die in prison?
They give them one chance every time. So one chance. Like previous sentences, they get one chance. So I believe they moved me to a situation where they would have one chance. But you know why I stand here now and I'm quite happy? Because you see, if I get killed in jail on my next sentence, I genuinely believe there will be a revolution. And my whole purpose of my life, what I see now, and I would sacrifice my life tomorrow to change the direction of our country. If I get murdered in prison, I genuinely believe it would change the direction of this country.
So he's a real freedom fighter, huh? Not only for Britain, for whole Europe.
For the whole Western world. Yeah. That's actually what Pegida is about. And you are one of the main figures, even when you are on Pegida UK, but he's one of the main figures, and he's an inspiration for me.
So we hope we see him on the 4th celebration, huh?
Yeah.
Anniversary. Do you think you could come?
It depends, but it might work out.
On the 23rd, so I'll probably go into prison. I thought I was going to prison last week, so if I'm going to prison and I'm being taken away from my family, then I'd like to spend the time before with my children. So it's difficult, yeah.
So what do you think? What are the chances? 50-50?
Yeah,
No, I'm going to jail. 100%.
You're sure?
When I read my statement out, when you hear my statement, I'm not backing down. I am going full. I am going to lay the gauntlet down to the government. I'm not going to back down. I am going to. When you read what I'm going to say in court, I'm calling all of them out. So there's no way that I believe that a judge is going to sit there. He's going to be. Even my own defence.
Even stop your statement.
Yeah, that's what they said. Hopefully he does. But I'm still going to say it because I've got something to say. I'm in court. You're prosecuting me for saying that I believe is politically motivated, and I will say what I want to say. I know 100% I'm going to jail.
But it's not public. You can't. The public cannot hear what you're saying. Yeah.
They will be able to. So my trial's on 23rd of October, but on the 8th of October, the reporting restrictions will be lifted. So after the 8th of October, everyone will hear. I can't tell you the truth now because there's reporting restrictions, which isn't.
So this will be a call for.
He would again now be prosecuted if he tells us insights about his trial. So he would face another charge.
Like, you want to keep 60 million people in the dark in Britain to defend the defendants, we don't have these laws in America or Germany or most other countries. So I'll say that what they're trying to do by putting these reporting restrictions on, they stop the public knowing what's going on, and then we have one day's news. So I'd rather, which I said is Martin Luther King said, you have to abide by the law and non-law, but if the law's wrong, then... And I believe laws are being used in the UK to silence the British public. That's what I believe. I'm willing to go to jail for it, so that the British public understand exactly what's happening. And if you don't know Lux Backman already, then he's a fascist extremist.
Finish.
So, good luck, Tommy.
Thank you.
You are a real
This
freedom
is the first
fighter.
person
He's a
in my
real
history.
freedom fighter. Look at him.
The first person.
He will be in
talk
some
about
years.
Islam.
You know,
So
they will call places and streets after you because you saw the danger. Yeah.
Told you, brother.
When
You're the
millions
first
of people were sleeping, like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Same.
yes. So we have to fight a real
That's
big
why he
danger.
is the hero of resistance.
Yes.
That's why he get this prize today.
And maybe we can get you asylum in Germany.
I'll go for it.
I'll give you
One of the
asylum
first
to
people. Look, throughout the whole history, when we were asleep, one of the first people that was speaking about this problem.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
If you look back,
That's what I said
I
inside.
didn't even realise there was a counter-jihad movement, and it was these people. Yeah, so.
And never forget when we were in Aarhus in Denmark and in Stockholm.
Aarhus is on fire.
Yeah, it was horrible. Thousands against us. Yeah.
Now Munich is on fire.
But the fight is worth. Yeah. So
It's been a pleasure, bro.
keep on fighting,
Yeah,
Tommy.
thank you very much.
We are standing all behind you.
Thank
yeah. And
Back you up.
Yes. Yeah. You have
And now I'm
millions
gonna
of friends.
Smack you down.
And he is the best dressed man here.
Yes. A little bit crazy, but you know,
the best
this is
Shalom.
Christianity, Jewish. Yeah. Everybody is
You look great.
fighting together.
German
yeah?
Defense League.
You look
German
great, man.
Defense
You
League.
look great.
Yeah. Okay, so
Right,
good luck.
Thank you. Good to
Thank
see
you very much.
Good to see you.
Bye bye.